Hi, Sally Walker here, your hormone and slow age expert. So what is the gut? What is composed of? How many parts does your gut have? So basically, people, it is a tube that goes from your mouth and then it goes south. And it ends with your anus. It can be somewhere between 5 and 7 meters long, roughly. This is sort of roughly the length of it. And as long as food is inside the tube, it does not directly affect your body in any way. The food particles need to be broken down to their smallest units. So fats need to be broken down to fatty acids. Proteins need to be broken down to amino acids. And sugars need to be broken down to the single sugars, glucose, fructose, galactose, to be able to pass through the gut wall and into the body where they can be used and utilized. As long as they're still in the tube because they maybe didn't get broken down properly, they're too big to pass the gut wall, they cannot do any direct effect in the body. But staying in the tube and not being digested properly, they can then create havoc in the tube. So just to give you an example here, people who are lactose intolerant. So what is lactose? Lactose is milk sugar, isn't it? And milk sugar contains glucose combined to galactose and makes lactose. So there's two sugars together there. And the body can only absorb, or the gut can only absorb, single sugar molecules. So it's got to break down the lactose to the single glucose and the single galactose molecules. Now, those that are lactose intolerant don't have enough of the enzyme called lactase, which will break down the lactose. And so that means the lactose will stay in your gut. And when it stays in the gut, it ferments. And it can create havoc. It can give you gut ache, it can give you bloating, it can give you diarrhea. But it's not affecting the body. So it's not the same as having an allergic reaction to the milk sugars. You're having intolerance in your gut, okay? But if you persistently drink milk, for example, because you love it, you are going to affect your gut negatively. And with time, this could actually weaken the gut wall. It can make it leaky, as we call it. And then you're going to get undigested sugar molecules, undigested proteins going through the gut wall, and then they will create havoc in the body. Okay, so as long as it's in the tube, it's not going to do much damage, but it can give you discomfort, absolutely. So what are the sections of the gut? Well, it starts with the mouth, doesn't it? So the mouth, the teeth, the muscles in your cheeks, masseter muscle especially, the chewing muscles, all of these are the initial part of your gut. And in the mouth, there's a microbiome, isn't there? Yes, there is. It starts there. Then you've got the esophagus, which connects the mouth all the way down to the stomach. So then you've got the stomach. And remember, there's a little valve there between the stomach and the esophagus, keeping all that stomach acid nicely in your stomach, where it has lots of jobs. It's very important to have stomach acid. Otherwise, we're not going to start digesting proteins. We're not going to absorb calcium. We're not going to start the absorption of vitamin B12. We're not going to kill the naughty bugs, etc., etc. So we need stomach acid, but we do not want it in our esophagus, absolutely. So after the stomach, the food all is now being sort of chopped up and digested a little bit, and it moves now into the small intestine. And in the small intestine, this is where the biggest amount of absorption will happen through the gut wall. So in the small intestine, there's lots of enzymes coming from the pancreas, there's bile coming from the gallbladder, all helping this digestion down to the smallest units so they can be absorbed in the small intestine. From there, we go through into the large intestine. So the small intestine also has bacteria, but doesn't have very much. And there is a gut problem called small intestine bacterial overgrowth. And this can be very common with people who eat a lot of sugary things, basically, which are not being broken down completely. So there's a fermenting going on, possibly in the small intestine, where it should not be happening. Small intestine is for absorption. Large intestine, that's where the fermenting happens. This is where we get all the gases, etc. And this is what creates the wind the farting. Yeah. So in the large intestine, it's sometimes called the colon, and sometimes called the large bowel. This is where we have the biggest majority of our bacteria. And these can be tested in stool testing to see which kind of bacteria you have. And as I said, they, in their fermenting processes, do create air, wind. And this comes out the other end, doesn't it, through your anus like a little fart. And remember, farting is healthy. If you are not passing wind somewhere between 5 and 20 times a day, then there might be something wrong with your gut. Okay. So the large intestine goes into the rectum and the rectum into the anus, and that is your tube basically. And as I said, it's all about breaking down these macronutrients, carbohydrates, proteins and fats to the smallest units, so the single sugar molecules, glucose, galactose and fructose, the single protein units called amino acids, and the single fat units called fatty acids. Yes, and they will then be absorbed into the body and utilized to make energy. Yeah, and we talked all about that with the minding and mending the mitochondria. So remember to check out that blog. Yes. So the gut is also responsible for the elimination of waste. It is also responsible for the immune protection through this molecule called secretory IgA. So about 70% of your immune system is actually in the gut, and this is the microbiome, basically. And we know today that there is a crosstalk with all these microbiomes, basically. So the microbiome in your gut can talk with your skin, can talk with your vagina, can talk with your brain, can talk with your lungs. There's so many, and we call them axes. And you can have a little look at the article in this blog about the different axes which are formed between the gut and other organs in the body. Very, very, very important. So just to give you a heads up here, if you do have skin problems, the spots and things like this, or you have some rosacea, or you have eczema, that kind of thing, then the first place to start is the gut, because it could be a dysbiosis, an imbalance in the gut, which is actually creating the problem, and it's coming through your skin because the gut microbiome is talking to the skin microbiome. So be sure to start by doing elimination diets. So it is an article about elimination diets. They can be challenging, but hey ho, if they fix your skin problems, then it's worth it, isn't it? Because at the same time, they will fix your gut problems. So anyway, have a look at the article about gut. It's called Gut 101. Have a little look at it there, and all the other articles and all the other videos in this blog. Happy hormones, happy life.